Hey, this is Professor Homa. Welcome to Project 4. We're going to be working on a Buffalo Wild Wings postcard. I just used a WW. You're going to be downloading a folder called P4 WW postcard just for Wild Wings. I guess I forgot the B in there. And it's going to have an Illustrator file that you're going to be able to start with. But we're going to go through some of the steps here that you're going to do at the beginning so that you can get the process, or at least get the experience of kind of matching a font, downloading a font, and then tracing over the logo. So we're going to look at Buffalo Wild Wings online. Now, Buffalo Wild Wings changed their logo. They used to have this kind of sunset-looking logo with stars in, and it kind of worked as kind of one piece. And their newest version has kind of a separate circular kind of icon, and then the type is separate. And they changed the type a little bit. It has little kind of angles on it rather than the carved look it used to have. So I'm going to try to look at one as large as possible, because when we want to take a look at it and we want to trace it, we want nice quality. We don't want low resolution. So I'm going to click on this logo here just to take a look at it. And again, we're going to be tracing this. We're going to trace the buffalo, the circle, the yellow, and we're even going to be tracing the type. You might say, well, I don't want to take all day tracing the type. Even though this isn't that hard, there's a lot of straight lines in here. What we're going to do, one of the first steps that I want to show you, is we're going to make a screenshot of this text and then upload it to What the Font. It's actually My Fonts, and it has a tool called What the Font. There's actually a lot of tools out there for font identification so that you could match the font. Now this is a fairly common font, so it's not anything that's really hard to find, but it's modified. So we're going to have to modify this font. So when we look at this logo here, what we're going to do is on the Mac do a screenshot where we could do Shift Command 4. If we do Shift Command 4, we can get a little crosshair here, and we're going to highlight around. I'm going to use this buffalo text for now because that has the most text. And I'm just going to make a screenshot. Now, it may normally get saved on your desktop. I actually configured it so I have a folder called screenshots so I can collect them all together. So, and the reason I need to know that is because I'm going to upload whatever file this is that I just made a screenshot of to My Fonts What the Font. So let me go to My Fonts, and it's just myfonts.com. And like I said, if you look up font ID, you'll see all kinds of sites. Font Squirrel, a lot of sites now will have this kind of tool, but we're going to go to What the Font on My Fonts, which is actually a nice site. And I'm going to go to What the Font, and it gives you a tool to basically submit an image or upload an image. So I'm going to choose an image of my screenshot that I just took. So I'm going to go to Choose File, and it's going to be a ping. The desktop image or the screenshot that I just made is going to be a ping file. So I'm going to go find that. Now I have that in a file called Screenshots, and it should be at the bottom of where my screenshots are. You don't have to change the name or resave it or anything like that. There it is. I'm going to hit Open, and it's going to upload it, and then it just leads you through the steps here. So I'm uploading that screenshot. I'm going to hit Continue, and it should ask to identify the letters, and it's kind of messed up a little here. It's thinking this is a S, so buff, and then it's thinking the A is an R. So you want to kind of link in and make sure that you're showing the right letters. So everything looks okay right now. It's identifying the letters okay. So I'm just going to hit Continue, and it comes up and it brings me a couple fonts. It's showing me Special Forces Regular. It's showing me Flava Low, which is a little odd looking, and it's also showing me Aachen Bold. So here's Aachen, and we're actually going to use Aachen. That's the one we're going to use because it matches most of the letters pretty easily. It's not showing the O here. I don't know if I forgot to mention the O, but we're going to use Aachen Bold, and that's a fairly common font, but we're going to have to modify it because you can see it doesn't have sharp serifs or anything on here, and some of these serifs are going to have to be smoothed out, but that'll be fairly easy to do, and that'll be part of the process we'll go over in Illustrator. So we're going to use Aachen. So you can go and try to download Aachen. I actually put it up on our site so that you can actually download it, and it's for the Mac. So you can basically you could just click on it and download it and put it into your downloads, and then you could import it into FontBook if you're working on a Mac. So you don't even have to copy it anywhere yet. The way to actually put it into your fonts, if you launch FontBook, which I have down here in my dock, but you could go to Applications and just look for FontBook, and you can add it here. Now I set up categories of fonts like sans and script and serif and slab serif, so I'm going to put it in my slab serif. You could go right on a category, or you could go up to all fonts, either one, and just add it there. Now I already have it, so I'm not going to go through the whole process, but if you did, and I should unzip this first so I can see it, because that's where my fonts are. But what you would do is you would go to FontBook, And you'd basically, if you had a slab category here, or if you went in all fonts, you'd just go to File, Add Fonts, and I would just go and look for it. I would look for it in my downloads because that's where it is right now. So I am in my downloads. This is the one I just downloaded. And I would just go inside the folder after I unzipped it, and I would just choose that font. And I'm just going to use the Aachen Roman Bold, and I would just hit Open. Now, if I do that, I'm going to get some kind of message because I'm going to get duplicates. So I don't want to do anything with it right now. So that's all you need to do unless you already have it in there. So that's all you have to do with the font. So you're just going to do a little font ID and upload an image, and we know we're going to be working with Aachen. So what are we going to do next? Well, next what we're going to do is we're going to, in our folder that you're working on, we're going to open up this last name, P4WW logo. It's the first part of our project. So I even put an image in here that you could already trace, just like the Broncos and the path practice that we worked on, because we're going to try to trace it the same way. Now you have an original logo layer and a tracing layer to work over. Now this, I don't have to go over any of this. You'll know how to do this. If you do the Broncos one, this one should be pretty self-explanatory. But tracing this, how do we trace this? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type Buffalo. And I'll type Buffalo, and I'll just click and type. I'm not going to draw a text box. I'm going to click and type so that I could scale this text and make it nice and big. Now, I don't have it in my font yet. So I'm going to go to my character palette. And if you don't have your character palette out, you could go to Window and go all the way down to Type, and you could bring out your character palette. And that way it'll kind of float down here as well. If you don't want to use it up top, you could use it over here. And I'm going to go find, make sure Aachen is available. I'm going to use Aachen Bold. And there it is. And I'm gonna zoom into this, so now I could just I'm just gonna focus on the text right now. Let me put this away, and I'll put my Pathfinder away. So I have some screen to work on here, and I don't have it in caps right now, so I'm just gonna put it in caps. So I could just go to my character palette, either one, and I'll go to, if you're looking for caps, it's right here. If you ever don't see it, there's an options thing that might bring up like all caps that you can use as well. So that's all I want to do, and I'm going to make it a different color right now so that I could see it a little better. I'll just make it, any color. I'll make it like a lime green, and I'm going to scale it down, and I'm holding Shift whenever I do that, and I just want to match it, and I'm going to zoom in here real tight because I just want to match the O right now because that's actually one that should be exactly like it. So I'm going to go here and match the O to the right size. I'll try to get it on here, and I'll scale it down from different directions. Again, always holding Shift. I'll zoom out a little bit so I can scale the whole word. And you can also put it, if you want to give it a stroke too, you could flip this around and put a stroke on it and make it very thin. And I'm going to put it down to 0.5. By the way, if you click the down arrow, it goes down to 0, I think, which is ridiculous, but that's what it does. So you have to remember to just kind of choose 0.5 if you want a little thinner. And I'll zoom in here and get in real tight. So I make sure that the O is right over here. Almost exact. It may not be perfect, but that's pretty good. I'm seeing some of the pixels on the outside here, and that looks pretty good. You can see even the inside of it's a little bit longer. The L is pretty good, except it has these extra serifs here. So this won't be that bad to actually to edit, believe it or not. And what we're going to end up doing is breaking this apart, which is create outlines, and then just editing the anchor points. So let me stop here, and then I'll pick up the next video, and I'll just do some of that work with the text.